Cancer diagnoses among people under 50 have increased by 284%, and experts dispel myths and explain what is known about the phenomenon. Cancer diagnoses in young adults have increased almost fourfold in about 10 years, according to data presented in a survey conducted by experts. But what is causing this explosion of cases? In this video, we'll answer questions about the possible causes, ranging from the alleged role of vaccines, pesticides, and sweeteners to the effects of stress, diet, and technology use. 1. Can vaccines cause cancer? New vaccine neither against COVID-19 nor others on the national calendar has a causal link to cancer. Vaccines do not cause cancer, emphasizes Stephen an oncologist at the Oncoclinicus Group and the America's Health Foundation. People can rest assured there is no data linking vaccines to the disease. On the contrary, the technology developed for COVID-19 vaccines has helped drive new oncology therapy platforms, HPV vaccines. For example, prevent one type of cancer, cervical cancer. Furthermore, the recent increase in tumors in young adults began years before the pandemic, and international studies, such as the one published in the journal Nature Medicine 2022, have found no link between vaccines and increased cancer risk. 2. Is pesticide use related to the increase in cases? There is evidence of an increased risk with prolonged exposure, but this alone does not explain the increase in cases. Yes, there is data showing that consuming foods with above recommended amounts of pesticides increases the risk. It's not an explosive increase, but it is statistically related to an increase in tumors. Pesticide exposure can increase the risk of some tumors, especially in rural workers and vulnerable populations. However, experts warn that diet, obesity, and a sedentary lifestyle play a much greater role in the development of cancer than chemical contamination alone. 3. Does aspartame cause cancer? In July 2023, the World Health Organization, who released the results of its hazard and risk assessment of aspartame, the sweetener was classified as possibly carcinogenic, but the WHO and the fall themselves stated that the current intake limit is considered safe. Aspartame is classified as a possible risk, but it is not well established that it increases the risk of cancer. This debate needs to be calibrated so as not to create alarm and lead people to switch from sweetness to sugar and sugar. Yes, contributes to weight gain, which is a well-documented risk factor. 4. Do 5G, Wi-Fi, or microwaves cause cancer? No, 5G and Wi-Fi cannot cause cancer. The biological content is absolutely implausible. These waves do not have enough energy to damage DNA, which is what would need to happen to cause cancer, according to the World Health Organization, there is no evidence of an increased cancer risk associated with exposure to wireless networks, cell phones, antennas, or household appliances. 5. Can stress cause cancer? Not directly. Stress doesn't cause genetic mutations or cellular damage sufficient to initiate a tumor. Stress isn't the cause, but it can decrease immunity in some situations. And this is linked to the growth of existing diseases. I like to put it practically. Stress isn't the seed, it's the environment, the soil, light, and water for that seed to grow. In other words, stress doesn't cause cancer, but it can promote the progression of an already established disease, hinder treatment, and interfere with the immune system. 6. Does diet have an influence? Yes, and a lot. Diet is currently one of the main modifiable risk factors. Studies show that diets rich in ultra-processed foods, sugary drinks, and processed meats are linked to a higher incidence of colorectal, breast, and liver tumors. It's a lifestyle disease. Only 5% of cases are hereditary. 90% are related to diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and obesity. According to doctors, obesity is a central factor because abdominal fat is a biologically active tissue that produces inflammatory substances capable of stimulating cell growth and promoting mutations. The body is forced to constantly regenerate itself in a hostile environment. It's a silent inflammatory process, difficult to reverse. 7. What really causes cancer? The risk is more closely linked to behaviors and exposures accumulated over a lifetime, such as excessive alcohol consumption, smoking, ultra-processed foods, and obesity, unprotected solar radiation, pollution, and chronic chemical exposure. There are things that really attack DNA and damage it over the course of a lifetime. Alcohol, cigarettes, excessive sun exposure, and pollution. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to watch the full video with all the information. Thank you and come back often.